Chapter 1. Blood-Slicked Beginnings. Carter Woodstorm inhaled the stench of gore, intoxicated by the visceral carnage that surrounded him. In the nauseating glow of the green fluorescence, he savored the splatter across his face, an artwork in progress crafted by his own twisted skill. The disemboweled zombie lay motionless on the operation table, showing off his merciless dismemberment prowess. Dreadlock's repugnant HarvestCorp facility bustled with a gruesome hive of activity. Most workers went about their daily routine, processing the grisly remains of the undead. Carter, the embodiment of brutish strength, stood tall, adorned in ebony hair and icy blue eyes that spoke of sadistic desires. He was a relentless dismemberment machine, revered by the depraved HarvestCorp society for his bloodlust. Seizing his bone saw, serrated and cruel, he carved through putrid flesh, tendons, and sinew, dismembering with sick delight. The ear-piercing screech of metal slicing bone accompanied the sickening thud of limbs hitting the gore-splattered floor. "So, Carter," Rachel remarked from her workstation, her petite form hidden by her smeared protective gear. "What's it gonna be today? The axe or the machete?" Carter smirked beneath his blood-spattered mask, grabbing the fire axe. "It's an axe kind of day, Rach," he replied, appreciating the weight and heft of the instrument in his hand. With a ruthless swing, he tore through the immobilized zombie's torso, delighting in the horrific crunch of shattering bone as the undead's limbs succumbed to the force of the strike. "I've always been partial to the machete," Rachel mused, entranced by the spectacle of violence. Carter's derisive laughter filled the air, pausing briefly in his grisly task. "To each their own," he replied, then swiftly resumed his unholy dance of dismemberment. He reveled in the sensation of the axe tearing through flesh and snapping bone. It was an empowering art, a macabre passion that drove him. To him, this was more than just a job. His keen eyes surveyed the near-lifeless form in front of him, noting the pale, sickly pallor of the once-human features. Zombies were fascinating creatures, he mused, as he proceeded to hack off the undead's arms, rendering it completely incapacitated. Next, he proceeded to lop off its head with a singular, powerful blow. Blood spewed forth in a crimson arc, while the head rolled away, landing with a nasty thud on the blood-soaked floor. Having completed the exterior dissection, Carter's thoughts turned inward. He picked up his favorite set of surgical tools, expertly maneuvering them to remove the internal organs one by one, each discarded like some trophy. The wet, glistening innards slid through his gloved hands, their fetid stench an assault on the senses. Carter moved with precision and efficiency, methodically working through the gore-laden cavity until only a hollow shell remained. As he surveyed his work, a strange thought crossed his mind. What if there was another way to destroy the undead? Something new and inventive to add to his repertoire of cutting techniques. With a grin, Carter pondered the notion of using fire or acid to dissolve the zombie's body. The thought of watching the decomposing flesh bubble as it succumbed to the corrosive substances enthralled him. He relished the idea of witnessing the undead's form disintegrate into a pool of unrecognizable sludge. It would be a fascinating display of destruction, and perhaps even an exciting new challenge for him to master. Pierce's cold, heartless voice over the intercom interrupted Carter's reverie. "Carter, report to my office immediately." Carter reluctantly discarded his musings and wiped his hands on a nearby towel. "Seems the boss wants a word," he remarked to Rachel, who nodded with a knowing glance. "I'm sure he's got something interesting in store for you." "Good luck, Carter," she told him, evidently concerned. Carter made sure his tools were put away properly before stepping out of his private den. He approached the office of HarvestCorp's enigmatic leader, filled with unease. The door creaked open, revealing a sparsely furnished room. Mr. Pierce sat behind a large, imposing desk. His lean figure and slicked-back gray hair gave him a predatory air. His cold, calculating eyes bored into Carter, making him feel like prey caught in the gaze of a ruthless hunter. "Ah, Carter, I trust you've been keeping busy with your duties." "I've been honing my skills, sir," Carter replied with faux confidence, unsettled by the chilling atmosphere. Mr. Pierce leaned back in his chair, steepling his fingers. "I have a new assignment for you, Carter. One that requires your particular expertise. It's a simple task." Carter raised an eyebrow, intrigued by the prospect of a fresh challenge. "I'm all ears, sir. You're to pay a visit to one of our competitors' facilities. It seems they've been working on a new method of extracting organs from zombies that is far more efficient than our current methods. I want you to infiltrate their ranks, learn their secrets, and report back to me." He revealed a malicious glint in his eyes. Carter was intrigued by the challenge. "Consider it done, sir." He returned to the dismembering facility where he prepared his gear before making his way outside. His mind was consumed with thoughts of his latest assignment. The weight of it was settling upon his broad shoulders. The gory dance of dismemberment would have to wait for now. A new, clandestine task had taken priority, one that could change the very nature of his role within HarvestCorp and the sinister flesh system that powered it. Reluctantly, Carter turned his attention from the gory fantasies that filled his mind, instead focusing on the task at hand. The grim streets of Dreadlock provided a haunting atmosphere as Carter stealthily navigated his way to the competitor's compound. He wasn't scared of the many zombies he passed along the way. His focus remained unwavering. Getting closer to his destination, he noted the building's fortified exterior, making it clear that security was a priority for these people. Scaling the walls and bypassing the guards proved to be an invigorating challenge for Carter. Yet he indulged in the thrill of this new endeavor. Inside, Carter discovered that the competitor's facility was as cold and sterile as HarvestCorp's. However, there was an air of tension that looked to permeate the building, perhaps a result of the competition between the two organizations. While stealthily navigating the halls, he observed workers dismembered zombies with the utmost deftness. It was evident that these people were experts at their craft, much like Carter himself. He continued his clandestine exploration, finally locating the laboratory where the rival organization was perfecting its innovative extraction methods. Peering through a small window in the door, he watched with fascination as a team of scientists worked diligently to remove organs from a zombie specimen. The process appeared more efficient and far less gory than the methods Carter was accustomed to. Though he loathed to admit it, he couldn't help but feel a pang of envy at their expertise. As much as he enjoyed his work, he knew that their advanced techniques would grant HarvestCorp a sickening new edge in their trade. Carter observed their methods, vowing to adapt their expertise to his own craft. Once he had seen enough, he quietly retreated from the lab and made his way back to HarvestCorp, ensuring to leave no trace of his presence. Upon returning, Carter recounted his findings to Mr. Pierce, who admired his resourcefulness. "I'm impressed, Carter," he admitted. "You've done well. Implement these new techniques immediately and train our workforce." "I won't let you down, sir," Carter replied, accepting his horrible duty. As Carter resumed his macabre work, he felt a shift in his very core. The pleasure he once found in his profession had evolved into a dark desire to surpass his rivals and claim a higher rank within the malevolent HarvestCorp. The gut-wrenching symphony of dismemberment would have to take a backseat for now. The flesh system that powered HarvestCorp demanded nothing less, and Carter was all too eager to prove himself worthy.